Well, greetings everyone, and welcome back once again to the Vintage Sewing Machine Garage that you are watching here on YouTube. And I am making a video today because I am fascinated with a machine that may not sound at first glance all that fascinating. Japanese made sewing machine. And this machine is made in the mid to late 60s, and I believe that because it has lots more features than early 1950s Japanese made machines had. And it has knobs that, after working on the machine using penetrant oils, letting it soak for several days and then going back and applying the penetrant again, I have gotten things to move. And that's great. In fact, if I turn the cam slightly here, you'll see that, in fact, now the needle position knob now moves happily. No danger of breaking the knob because the steel that it is attached to is now free to move and glide with at least initial lubrication. I haven't got to go back and finish oiling the machine, but I have gotten the machine to move freely again behind the knob. Well, I used the same approach for this knob. And in fact, if you see, it will turn. And I kept looking at this thinking it turns beautifully. And then I looked, at the mechanism behind it, and it moves fine. But I couldn't figure out how to get the pointer to come all the way over to the left. So I've spent several days contemplating it, trying to understand, is there something that, because it clearly, once you get here, it is not moving any further. No, it's not even thinking about moving. So I dare not force it. And yet, you have a pointer, you have an indicator, and you have indicators, sort of an arc of indicators. So why isn't it moving? Well, I started remembering something. Again, talking to my spouse about it, just as a sounding board, and remembered that this machine may have been maintenanced or repaired or updated in some fashion. Because remember, this machine has a foot pedal that is not the same color as the machine, which is fine. There's nothing wrong with it, but the cord to the foot pedal is much newer than the machine is, and the pedal is of the same era. It's a rheostat metal pedal, but I'm not entirely convinced it's the original, and that's fine. But that tells me someone may have tinkered on this machine before, and you may discover when you are adopting or rescuing a vintage sewing machine, it may look like it's never been touched, but over time, you start restoring machines, you will start to notice. I mean, sometimes it's obvious because something is completely different, but not always. So, back to the knob. This does not release the knob. This this is a spring-loaded lever. In fact, when I push up on it, I let go, you hear it snap back. So, I do not believe it is affecting the ability or lack of ability for this knob to turn what is essentially, the range of these little symbols. And then I remembered something. I don't know if any of you have thought about it, but remember that knobs, and it applies to this one here. There is a set screw for the actual knob itself, and you can see it right. Get something to point with here. It's right here. If I zoom in, you might be able to see it a little bit better, of course, right there. And I also note that the smaller dials also have them. So this is the one it's actually right here, And of course, this one has one too. Now, let's think about this with any amount of logic we can muster here. The pointer is an indicator, right? It's like an old school speedometer on a car. So the pointer, if it's there, should, if the knob is working properly, it should point to anything that's within its range of motion, right? Because, you know, there's no indicator down here. You think, okay, all right, good, so far so good, but this one does not. Well, in the past, I have had to, on occasion, go back and look at machines whose settings have been altered, maybe with good intentions. You know, what they say, the road to hell is paved with good intentions. And they may have meant well, but they may have gotten something not quite right or put back together. This happened on an early Singer 401A that I worked on. It was one of my family members, actually, that gave it to me to tinker with. It was quite some time ago, and they had tried to fix it, and I went behind them and I had to learn what they had done and what they may have done that was in error. Again, they were trying their best, not their fault, but I had to then figure out what did they do that maybe was backwards, right? Because a tension assembly is assembled in a certain order. And so I started thinking about that, and then recently I had I believe it was a Singer Spartan, or 99K, I think it was the Spartan, that someone had gone in and disassembled the tension assembly, put it back together, but they had put the check spring in the wrong place. So I had to disassemble that and reassemble it, and then it worked fine. Now, so what has that got to do with this Simpsons brand? Easy to pass over machines like this when you don't recognize the brand, but again, this machine I'm just really excited to kind of see what it'll do, what it has the potential to do. And back to this knob, this dial, I should say, is it possible that someone altered the dial, or maybe the set screw got loose and the dial began to slip? Now the dial doesn't seem to move off of, it's attached to a shaft of some sort. So what is all this? What am I saying all this for? Because I think it's time we took a look. I am going to loosen the dial, and then once I have loosened it, I'm going to attempt to shift the dial back onto where I think it should be, and then I'll snug the set screw back and see if in fact it's not the mechanicals of the machine that are being stubborn, it's the dial is off. Because remember, when the dial comes all the way over here, it's not indicating anything. And that seems awfully odd, right? Okay, so what am I going to do? First thing I'm going to do is get in this position over here. Let's get a little bit of a zoom here going on. And see if we can get just a little bit more light. See if I can get a little bit of light on there. Maybe that'll make it a little easier somewhat easier to see. Shift the cam a little bit. All right, it's kind of bright though. Maybe we'll try a different one. That one's so bright, it's almost just reflecting back. It's hard to see much of anything. Let's see here. Huh. Maybe that's a little bit better. All right. So, I am going to use my screwdriver bit. If you do not have a set of these, they're a fantastic tool. Probably one of the most important tools I have as a sewing machine restorer. And this doesn't just apply to sewing machines. these screwdriver tips were not designed specifically for sewing machines, but I like them because I'm less likely to strip something. I do not want to strip this screw. And if I use a generic screwdriver, one with a tapered tip like most of us have in our homes, I'm really concerned I might strip this. And I don't want to do that because I really don't know where I might find a replacement. I could, but it might take a while and it would really, really put a damper on the day. There's one other thing we can do to make the screw or the bolt in this dial survive this procedure. And yes, I am taking, this is another old towel, terry cloth, and I'm going to put it right here underneath and sort of tucked in back underneath the harp space of the machine because, of course I blocked my light there, because what I do not want to do is lose this bolt. All right, let's see here. I'm gonna come in with the screwdriver. Uh-oh. Can I get the right angle? Uh-oh. Maybe, just maybe. Oh, man. I'm pushing in, right? I definitely don't want to. Well, let's see. I might use the ratchet because I don't have to worry about my, well, let's see. No, I may have to use the ratchet without even having the extension there because I need it to be out of my way. I don't want to have this dial blocking me. Okay, let's see again if I can try this. This one, I want to make sure I've got the right tip. If a tip is too narrow, it has a chance of causing problems and potentially stripping a bolt. If it's too thick, it can also have that same effect. So I'm going to get one that's just a little bit thicker for the slot on there. And let's see here. It's kind of a weird angle. So when you have an angle like this, you got to be extra careful. It really doesn't want to move. Going to give it one more try before I go to penetrant oils to save the day here. So what I need to do is I got to hold I don't want to put too much pressure on the knob or the dial, so I'm going to support that over here with my left hand. And over here, before I start turning this, I really need to push in and hold it steady. Can't really tell if it moved at all or if that's just my imagination. You guys ever have a screwdriver tip or a screwdriver? I think it is moving. Let's see. Sometimes when you apply pressure on the bolt that you're trying to loosen, it can help prevent stripping. We hope. I think I'm getting some progress here. But you would think, as difficult as it was to move this bolt, that it would, you would think, well, maybe the bolt got loose and someone, it just kind of slipped over time. But this thing was on there, so I don't know. Maybe my theory is goofy. Who knows? All right. So, how do I know where to set this? What I'm trying to figure out, I want to get this knob to turn on the shaft that it's attached to, and then somehow align it so that, because right now it's still, I mean, it hasn't gotten floppy or loose yet, guys. So, gosh. Well, let's go ahead. I'm going to go ahead and take the bolt out because, and that's what it looks like. Well, let's see. If I can put it on something to show you. It's so small that my fat finger and thumb kind of get in the way there, but that's what it looks like. Let's see if I can get this where you guys can actually see. I'm gonna set it down and see if that will help it to show up on the camera here for you guys. It's interesting, and again, this is a reason why you do not want to strip the screw or the bolt. I keep calling it a bolt and a screw, sorry. You don't want to strip this, and you don't want to lose it, because I don't know, where am I going to get one like it? You guys see that? It's threaded, and then that portion there, I suspect that's like a little mini shaft that locks into something. Probably it locks into a shaft that the dial is attached to. So, okay. It's turning it. Oh, come on. Why can't I get this off? All right, this is quite something. All right. So this is what we've got. I like I say, the bolt's out, and I want that bolt away from anywhere where I might drop it and send it flying. That is not. I'm determined for that not to happen today. Now, but notice it still comes all the way down, and it stops in the same place. Oh, you're kidding me. Surely there's a way to take this off. What I don't know is there something behind? Sometimes manufacturers would put a cover up. Sometimes it was aluminum, sometimes it was just a sticker for the graphics, and then behind there was like a bolt. But I don't know if there is. I really don't. Well, when you think you're being clever and you find out you weren't so clever after all, that's it could literally just be that it's stuck, right? I mean, it may be stuck on there. They may have applied. Well, why would they apply adhesive? Hopefully they didn't apply adhesive because they have the bolt, and that bolt was on there good. But somehow this thing has just not. I really don't think my dial is set properly, and I'm very, very hesitant to start putting something behind here and prying. I really do not want to break this dial. But I know that they were designed to come off because behind the dial is a screw that allows you to take off this plate here, this fascia, if you will. Well, interesting. What do you think? We've either got something behind here, or I've just got a dial that's been sitting on there forever, although it seems odd that plastic and metal would fuse that easily. And I can, of course, I can spray some penetrant up into this area where the bolt was. 3 steps forward, 2 steps backwards. Well, I've talked a lot on this channel about patience, and today I've got to conjure up some, folks, because I'm really excited to see what this machine's going to do, but it's just not ready. And I don't look for clients to get machines from me until they're ready. That's the whole point. All right. Well, let's see. What do you think? What do you think we should do here, folks? I can take a little screwdriver here and try to come behind, but I don't know. Oh. Now, I did not pry in a very difficult way. Oh, okay. So I did not dislodge this. It literally came off. Oh, I wonder. Oh, wait a minute. Do you think that the knob itself was always set correctly, but this piece wasn't? Is that possible even? Because what do I see on the back here? It looks kind of grimy, but I think what I see is old glue, like 60-something-year-old glue. Now, what is here? I'm not even sure what I'm looking at there, because if you look, there's clearly a shaft that this knob sits on, but really don't know what else. I don't think this is a oh, wait a minute, what do we got here? Is that a washer? No, it looks like it's round, but I don't know what it is. But the shaft does not have a, I don't see any kind of slot where you would put a screwdriver, because sometimes that's how they come apart. So, okay, well, maybe I'm, what's that old saying? Right church, wrong pew. Maybe I'm sort of in the right area, but the wrong idea. All right, so this knob does not seem to have changed its willingness to turn, right? And I do not know if I have, I may have pulled this knob out some. Let's see. No, not really. It seems to be in the same place it always was. Okay, so let's try this. Let's try. Got to get this flashlight off my head. It looks like a strobe light here. All right. So I'm not worried about the adhesive. I can get adhesive to fix that. But let's come back. All right. Let's turn our little indicator here. All right. What I want is for the indicator to not go any farther than this symbol for the widest zigzag when it's turned. So obviously, let's just do that. Let's do that right now. Now, let's see. Let's turn the cam back. Get you guys closer to looking at this straight on. It'll make more sense to you. All right, so all right. Whoops. Yeah, this is 60-some-year-old glue. Again, this was a guess. I didn't even know that this was going to come off. So let's just, now, if that is where the knob doesn't want to turn any more to the right, and I have now placed the indicator, get this even more centered for you all, or as centered as I can make it. All right, so, all right, this should be All right, the furthest that the pointer is going to go. Now let's see what it does. Now it comes here. Ah, there we go. So now, what does that tell us? The knob was never, once I got everything loosened up with the penetrant, and I've been, you guys have seen me turn the knob like back and forth, the knob was fine. It was the indicator that was off. But how, I don't know how and why, because I still can't get this knob to move since I undid the set screw. So how curious is that? I don't know. Maybe it moved on its own. Maybe somebody moved it. Maybe it got stuck on weird at the factory. I don't know. Maybe what really matters is not. Okay, so I wonder if it should turn a little bit to the right, a little bit. Because, and again, this is a, I don't know how the factory had it, but you can see the pointer here, and it's a little past empty. Reminds me of a old school. All right, let's do that. All right, so that, now what happens if you turn, now we're a little past there, so we'll go a little bit back. All right. The purpose of this indicator, the indicator is not determining where the setting is, the knob is. The knob is moving the mechanicals behind it. But the pointer is very important because you don't know what you've got set until you the pointer has to be accurate, right? I mean, if you have a gauge for your the gas tank on your car and it's not accurate, well, you know what that's going to lead to. Unhappy times. All right, let's all right, pointer. I have, by the way, an adhesive that I have used before that I originally purchased for use on plastic trim pieces for a car, and it should work just fine for this purpose. I just want to make sure that I've sort of pointed this at the right spot. All right, so that we know what's what here. All right, I'm happy with that. All right. Well, sometimes when you're trying to figure something out, you may not know going in what you're going to find, but you roll with the punches and you kind of have to, you do the best you can. So what am I going to do? Well, as hard as this set screw was to get out, you know what I'm going to do. I'm going to put a little drop of sewing oil on it. Of course I am. And I just need a very thin film here. And then I think I've got I think the opening, yeah, it's down here. And the opening for that is actually at 6 o'clock. Whoops. And to my earlier point about why you should have terry cloth under your machine, I've dropped this thing twice now, trying to get the screwdriver tip under it so I can start turning the screwdriver tip and get this back where it belongs. Oops. Such a strange device. So this portion of the mystery of this machine, I think, at least for this part, has been solved. We think. So far, you know, until the machine tells me otherwise or proves me wrong. All right, so I've gotten the this set screw. I just snugged it and I stopped. Like I said, it moves, and the dial has not started slipping on the shaft, so I'm not worried that the dial is going to come loose with the screw back there. So there we go. Hooray! One step at a time, baby steps, folks. Like I said, if you ever have a machine that you think you understand it, you've gotten it fixed, or you thought you did, and then, oh, now there's something else, that's okay. You make progress. It just doesn't always come as quickly. But machines take a long time to get out of whack. They sit for years, so it shouldn't surprise us that they need time and patience and tender, loving care to be brought back to the amazing condition they were when someone went into their local Simpsons sewing machine department at the Simpsons department store. And for that customer, this was a big deal. Even a Japanese machine was still very expensive. It was an expensive purchase. They put a lot of thought into it, and they probably made payments on it. And you know, obviously they were well made, because here we are 60 some years later, and there's a decent chance, knock on wood, knock on laminated wood, that we will hopefully get it to do something again. And that's more than you can say for a lot of consumer products these days. Thank you all for watching me as I struggle, and hopefully once we get some little glue adhesive on this little thing, it will be hopefully ready to get ready, at least that part, to function once again. Because this machine, my gosh, it's had some use, but I don't know, it doesn't look like it had a lot of wear. There should be at least several generations more worth of use out of this. So I'm hopeful, fingers crossed, and very, very much looking forward to seeing it run again. And if you have not yet done so, please consider supporting the channel. You can go to my Buy Me a Coffee links. They're all over this channel. And you can make a donation at whatever level you would like. And it helps my efforts to go out and purchase more of these machines and the tables or the cases or whatever comes with them, and get them rescued and woken up so that they can be appreciated and used by hopefully more generations to come. Thanks, everyone. We'll see you next time.